Assalamu alaikum, people listening and watching. You're tuning into the Let's Walk podcast. I'm your host Ata, and today I'm joined by Sindhu, the founder of La Rose Hyderabad. La Rose
Hi,
Hyderabad, yeah.
Sarah.
And
It's nice to be here. Or shall we do it again? I think I cut you off, right?
it's okay. हमारे उसमें है ना ऐसा कुछ perfect रहने का scene नहीं है. चल रहा तो चलने दो.
Okay, perfect.
So Sindhu, why don't you probably start off with how did you actually get into baking?
Oh, yes, long story. So basically, I never had it in my head to open any patisserie, let alone bake. So, yeah, basically, when I first started baking, I was 12 years old and I burnt an entire cake. The second I opened the door, was like smoke everywhere, and I was like, this is not for me. And it was like in the back of my head that sometime I was gonna do it, and then COVID happened, and I was like, maybe the sometime is enough, and then I got into it. So I think COVID was around March, right? I had plenty of time to properly set up a project, and then if everything works out, I thought we'd open a patisserie, and nothing worked out. Like I said, COVID. But the good part of it was I had a chance to open a studio where I could like put up a cloud kitchen, and that's what I did. And we sold some raw material and stuff. We did some marketing. We did a lot of research, and finally we established that August 27th. And yeah, that's how I got into baking. It happened out of nowhere. It was like never on my list that I have to do it, but I think COVID helped me do it.
Yeah. So you said about the cake burning and everything. My sister tried baking, I think,
Uh-huh.
5 years back, and you know what ended up happening? The entire cake or whatever you call the batter and everything, I don't know the lingo. It ended up becoming like a thick naan, like this big naan.
Oh.
And we were literally trolling her for I don't know for quite a while, and we still troll her कि है ना क्या केक बनाने गए थे नान बना दिया हमारे लिए and sweet
I
naan वो भी.
still get trolled. I can relate to your sis.
Yeah. So after that, she kind of, she gave her hope. She's like, first I need to get a proper oven of this size and that size and this specification. Then I'm going to. I was like, fine, fine, fine. That's uh that's that. And I actually want to jump into your background as in your education and everything. How did you like balance and everything? Were you like, padhai chalte rahegi? Like, I want to focus on this thing.
Right. So my education has been a roller coaster ride for me because I started taking up max thinking I'd become an engineer. And that's what I did in intermediate. I am not from business background or whatsoever. When people start throwing terminology at my face, I'm like, what are you talking? Back then, that was my situation. So coming from that background, I never thought, this is where I would be. But yeah, basically I took up sciences in my intermediate, and after that I thought this is not for me. I don't think I am this person who can sit in the room, sit in front of the table, and like work 9 to 5. I'm not made for that. The projects, the assignments, they literally brainwashed me. They're like, no, this is not you. And then after that, I just jumped into the business. I took up arts, and right now my major is economics. I recently graduated. So Laruso was a part time for me throughout the degree. And now that I'm finally done with graduation, I thought, let's take it up properly. So yeah, that's my education background.
So how did you kind of like? I'm sure your parents are pretty like desi, and they'd be like, engineer. Like, how can you compromise the dream of being an engineer? Like there's only we say there's only four things you can be in a desi family:
Oh my.
doctor, lawyer, engineer, or a failure. So
Oh, so true. Oh my God.
so how did you like figure out? I have to break this to my parents that हम engineer नहीं बनने वाले हैं.
I think I got lucky in this particular area because they used to love whatever I used to make. In fact, they used to give me orders that I have to make some more for the neighborhood so they can show off that they didn't get something from bakery and it's like homemade. I think they are the first people who pushed me into it. They're like, I don't think you're the steady type of person. You're doing good like this. So why don't you, do more that is, the area where you're good at rather than pursuing something you're not good at. And I think I really got lucky because I see all my friends saying the same thing. And somehow I cannot relate to them because my parents have been nothing but supportive throughout. And I think you even met them in the TEDx stall, not sure.
I don't remember actually. I met a lot of people over there. मेरा दिमाग पूरा अभी switch off है अभी.
Right. So they were at the event as well. They were very supportive. They are the people who actually pushed me into this.
That's really nice to hear. And I feel like when parents they see like a proof in their like in front of them, like something really working out rather than ourselves telling them, like a fairy tale, I'm going to do this, is going to be a startup incubation hoga, and then we'll be a Fortune 500 company or something like that. When we actually show them that we are doing something, that makes it a lot more easier for them to trust us with the decision.
This is so true. This is so true. Although I had supportive parents, I did have some, boundaries set up by them. They were like, if this is how you are gonna take it up, I don't think I can support you. Like, this is what my dad said. If I'm just gonna do it for hobby, he wasn't interested in investing any amount. And I literally had to sit down, plan everything from, the amount it's gonna take, the capital, and how much we have to how much of time it's going to take for this to set it up, what are the limitations of it, how far can we reach people, and what are we going to put up, what's the core values. I literally had to write down every single thing. And when it was all finally in the place, I took this project. I was like, okay, why don't you sit down? And I made a slideshow and I was like telling them this is how it's going to be. So what do you think now? And the second I was being realistic about the dreams, I think that's when they were like, yeah, maybe right now is the right time to, support them. Till then, it was like cheering for me. And I think later, after that day, they were actually rooting for me, with all the resources in front of me. They were providing me with resources. And at the same time, they were like, yes, this is how you can take it forward, not just dreaming about it.
Is your dad a businessman?
Oh no, he's a government employee.
But still, like with the slideshow and everything, I was like, he's probably a legit, somewhere into like real business or something like that. But
He has a brain of the businessman for sure.
yeah, because getting up, like all the slideshow and everything, core values. I don't know how you came up with the name. Tell us about that actually.
Oh wow, yeah. So I actually put up a poll with all my friends saying they can pick names for the brand that I was gonna put it out. No one really knew except apart from that particular time when I told everyone this is how it's gonna go. I'm starting a business and I need suggestions for names. And people came up with names like Bako Clock. Can you believe that?
Yeah, क्या नाम है?
it it went like Bako Clock and some weird names that go with baking away and stuff like that. Can you believe that?
Crazy, crazy.
They came up with very questionable names, and I always had this thing in my head: when I'm rich enough, I'm gonna make desserts, boozy desserts, with alcohol in it. And rosé is my favorite wine. And then I researched a bit and found out that La Rose actually means a very peaceful, quiet place full of roses and stuff. And that was actually in the back of my head. Okay, this is where I see myself as a retired person eating boozy desserts and chilling and you know having life together like that. And it clicked for me because now the end goal of La Rose is to include boozy desserts and entremets and whatnot, all the patisserie stuff with alcohol in them. Not because I'm an alcoholic or something, but because the very peculiar taste that comes out with desserts that way is like gonna be La Rose's signature style at the end of the day. And that's how I envision La Rose. And I thought my vision should be in the name, as a part of the name. So when I look up to the name, I know where to go and how far I have to travel to reach that destination.
Makes sense. So your sweets are quite unsanskari, yeah?
Yes, that's the right word. Yes.
So yeah, like do you like especially in like now you're not including alcohol, right? I mean, as like in the beginning, as of now.
There are desserts on the menu that have alcohol in them.
Okay, so like do you actually market them as like desserts which already have alcohol in them?
Of course, it's all in the open air that people can order if they want boozy desserts. Because like at Hyderabad, at the current trend, what I know is, during Christmas it's very popular for people to have desserts that have alcohol in them. They celebrate even through New Year. I think that's the time when we actually sell out a lot of alcohol desserts rather than the regular time of the year. So yeah, it's not really. I don't think it's like people are pointing it out, and it's not like it's not going well, but it's definitely taking up. I did not expect, coming from typical Indian family, and having relatives who are not really supportive of such ideas, but the second they taste it and then they get a sense of and a hang of it, I think they start to love it more. And we even did some samples, I think, at TEDx event. We put some whiskey chocolate bites, and they were out. We even put some coffee infused chocolates, and they were all out within like 10 minutes of the break getting over. They were all done, like within the first break itself. So I think people are starting to like that trend more. Just how much is I like them too. So it's going great for me.
So how do you come up with like do you come up with trends or like how do you figure out this thing is going to like this is something that people are going to like? Do you just like sample out different areas? Like how do you go about it?
Right. So I have group of really close friends who were there since the beginning, and every sample that I make, I just make a bunch of them, like say 10, 15 peculiar flavors that no one ever heard of, and I just let them come over to the studio and have a taste of it. And we have discussions where people cruelly criticize everything, take me apart, and out of like 10, I think two will get through it, two flavors that'll like make it to the end, where all out of 10 people, probably 9 people like them. And that's how I put it out. And apart from my own friends group, I still do give out samples to regular customers who have been there with me for 2 years through La Rose. I just give them samples when they order something. I'll be like, there's one more sample, why don't you just let me know the feedback. I'd love to hear from you. And I do let them know that this is not an official product. So if they find any fault with it, they could let me know. And that's how I get feedback. And probably after a couple of months of doing that, I officially put it on the menu. Usually that's how the process works for me.
So if in case I'm looking down, it's some of the points I plan on to discuss. So yeah.
Yes.
So where's I? So I met with Pratham and Aaron as well in TEDx. So how do you actually like get in touch with them? How do you actually like get them in the crew?
Right. So Pratham and Aaron both are my classmates from Bhavans. Pratham is my junior, and Aaron and I were in the same class. So what happened was Aaron was one of the very first people I said that La Rose is gonna get open soon, because he has a knack for food and he's kind of picky, which helps me with my business. Because it's not easy to actually like convince them that is good, something is good, because they're picky people and they pick apart everything. And that's how it went with Aaron. And Aaron, to my surprise, he offered help. He's like, you know what, I can do designing stuff because my courses are similar to it. And I was like, sure, because I need help with it. I have no one to, do anything of that sort. And Aaron got into the team automatically. We did not even discuss ki we both are a team. It just happened. And he started designing the logos. He's very talented. I just give him some projects and he comes back within hours, and the end result is amazing. He picked color palette for the La Rose, he picked logos, he picked font. whatnot. Everything that you see digitally of Laruse is Aaron's work. And I was shockingly surprised at how talented he is. And I'm like, I think you're gonna be a part of this forever. And yeah, so he agreed, and that's how we just got into it as a team, because like we were classmates. And Pratham was my junior, and I met him through Aaron. And he's really great at photography stuff. And I actually asked him, to help me with the team, because I'm not really good at photography stuff, and I do not know how to, maintain a social platform or like do the aesthetics of that part. And Pratham was like just doing it as if he's like really having the course work since years together. Like he did it really well. It was like he's natural at it. And I was like, okay, then why don't you just take it forward for me? And that's how we became a team. Apart from that, I do have a couple of interns that I interviewed personally. And those interns are like from outside. These are the people that I do not know. I just went to this hotel management school in Hyderabad, and I asked them if I could take up any of the interns, if they were offering any internship stuff or like projects for them. And then I just interviewed few of them, and I just took up the people who had experience in the same baking field and like the desserts that I was offering. And that's how I took up the interns. But Aaron and Pratham, I met them personally in my life, and I've seen their work, and they were incredibly talented. I mean, you can see the work online on my Instagram page, and Aaron's work through designing. And I was like, these are the people that I do not want to lose. You better be on my team.
Uh, I really love the color combination and everything with the discount code thing you had on TEDx. I really like that though.
Oh wow. I'll convey this to Aaron.
I want to know, what do you look for in the interns you hire? Obviously, besides the expertise and everything, like what do you actually look for? Like what are the characteristic traits you're looking for?
I wanted them to be picky, and I wanted them to be foodies. I I'd never want them to compromise. These are the standards apart from the regular interview standards that you see. Like, you have to know the basics in baking, blah blah blah. Apart from that, I really want people who intern with me to be very picky. I do not want them to settle for just bare minimum. I want them to, have this knack for food. So whenever they taste it and they pick it apart and they can see where they can improvise, I feel like it really gives birth to new flavors and menu that's out of the routine. And these were few standards that I put for La Rose, and these interns that intern with me, they definitely match that criteria, and that's how it went.
Yeah. So like dedication, you would say, like dedication and obviously like striving up for better.
Of course, exactly. Yes, that is true.
So how did you think about, like, what was the process of partnering up with TEDx? And like obviously TEDx is a huge event. This was Asia's biggest TEDx event, right?
Right. Yeah. So I think the first time I got a message, I had no clue that TEDx event was going on, because, as we know, after COVID, there are a lot of events that came to stall. So one of the team members, Deborah and Rahul, who were like the head of logistics, I think, and their team members, Joanna, messaged me on Instagram saying, I just came across your Instagram profile, and this is the thing, I'm looking to like collaborate. We have a big brand. She did not mention the name of the brand whatsoever. So she found Laruse from Pratham as well, because I don't know how, but I think she came across the profile because Pratham, Aaron, we keep promoting Laruse a lot, and she mentioned the names so I can like clarify that yes, this is through some of the people I know. And then she messages that we are looking for small businesses and the profile looks good. We needed brownies to give away to people. And I was like, sure. And I asked her the details, I asked her the agenda of the event and have to take it forward. And then she mentioned it was for TEDx. And for a moment, I'm gonna be brutally honest, I thought it was a scam. That this is not going to work out. I genuinely thought it was a scam the second she mentioned the name. And later on, I got the official mail. saying ki the event is gonna be there. So Larus is like officially selected to be one of the partners for TEDx. I lost it. Honestly, I was very happy to collaborate with them, and so that's how we spoke all the basic stuff that's need to be put out, like the stall, the number of people that we'd have to supply to, and like what do both of us get out of it, and how should we take it forward, and all the basic details. And after that, the email confirmed it, and following the email, I was personally in touch with Rahul and Deborah, and we were discussing all the details, like what would be great and what time should I have to like dispatch the order and all of that. So this is how we got with we got to partner with TEDx.
So how long was the process, like baking and everything? Obviously, like, and putting them into boxes, the ribbons and everything. I was volunteering over there, so it's like lots of boxes, right?
Oh, definitely lots of boxes. I think the everything was confirmed by September 2nd. So we started the preparation on September 10th. The boxes, the printing of the tiny letters on have to like instructing, have to reheat brownies and all of that. The business cards, the banner, have to plan the stall. Everything took about like 10 proper days. And the last 3 days, none of my team or me had any sleep. All 5 days we barely had like a couple of hours of sleep because we were too stressed on have to dispatch it, because it was raining continuously before 2 days before the TEDx event, and TEDx is happening in Narsingi and the studio is in Saket. It's like about 32 to 35 kilometers away, and that's like 2 hours of traveling. And I wouldn't suggest for any of my clients to travel in such long distances with my deserts in the vehicle. And we were losing it over logistics because it wasn't working out as to have to take it all till there, and the transport we had cancelled last moment. So there was a lot going on, like behind the entire event in the stall. We were sleep deprived trying to manage the logistics, and we were stressed, but at the end it worked out. So yeah, like just 5 days before the event, all we were doing was focusing on the logistics, making sure every package is not missing anything. For a moment I was scared ki what if one box goes empty. Thankfully that didn't happen.
Uh,
I was really, this 1600 of boxes lying around, and there's like an entire tower of brownies that needs to be chilled and then cut and then packaged individually, handmade. So you can imagine how stressful any person would be. And my team was chill. They were just like, we'll do it, of course we can make it in time. But since you collaborate with such a big name, TEDx, of course, even though everything is going good, you still want it to be perfect. So yeah, it did take some time for me to calm down and think that everything was going great. No empty boxes, every box has brownies. Now let's chill.
yeah. So like, did you, like, how did you actually, get like people to stick everything or tying and everything? Like, did you guys do it individually, or you were like, Ami, come and help, like all your family members or something, so that it gets done really fast?
Yeah, so I have 7 interns who were also like, some of them are friends, some of them are strangers that I interviewed personally. So apart from 7 interns, I had family like mom and dad helping, and so it was like about 10 people in the same room. One person is like packing the brownies, one person is like tying it, one person is like counting the amount of boxes that are going into the huge box. I don't know if you saw, but we actually bought like 3 huge cardboard boxes that you use to shift when you shift houses.
Yep.
So oh, you saw that?
Yeah, yeah, we saw that. Actually, we were putting it, like into each goodie bag, so that each goodie bag has the brownie.
Right. So we had to do that. And like, yeah, every person was taking care of one little detail. So that's how it all got together at the end.
So, like, what's the logic behind not like you're transporting your brownies for like 2 hours? Why
Like,
don't you want your like clients or customers to like transport the brownies?
So the ingredients I use, and basing on the recipe, there are some recipes that melt, and there are some recipes that do not melt, but they expire. That you can't really eat them if they're not refrigerated. And knowing my recipe and knowing that we have to stack 1,600 boxes in the same vehicle, and if it was gonna travel for more than 2-3 hours in the rain, that too evening, and the weather was very tacky. It was sunny for a minute and then it was raining. It was pouring down. And I did not want to risk it because there were high chances that the brownies, might melt or might, expire because of the high humidity levels. And, the second you open the brownie, you want it to be perfect. You want it to be in shape. And I was like, you won't get the perfect product if the weather is going to act like that. And upon that, you have logistics where you have to travel for that far, and the air conditioning in the vehicle is different than that of the refrigerator. So the drastic temperature change is going to make sure that your product is going to go stale. So I was explaining this to the team as well. So we decided that we'll travel when the weather is proper, and that's when we started around 6 o'clock. No, 5:30, I think, early in the morning on the day of the event. And the weather was perfect in the morning, thankfully. So yeah.
Yeah. So with that, I want to actually move on into like, have you had any of the challenges while like with Laros and everything, making it like your main thing instead of going and pursuing a job? Like, what are the challenges you faced? Obviously, when I have all the entrepreneurs and people have accomplished whatever they have envisioned, we always talk about the good things. I did this, I did that, but then we kind of neglect, or we kind of skip the things which you know I wouldn't say the bad things, but I would say the challenges they faced. And I feel the audience need to know about them, so that they have a realistic view of life. Not that we start a startup and everything's going to be sunshine and rainbows.
That is so true. And I'm so glad you asked this question because it is one of the rarely asked questions. And I think during entrepreneurship, people assume that it's fancy, glamorous life where you are earning endlessly. And that's the exact opposite of how entrepreneurship works. There are seasons where your business is going to go well, you're going to make a lot of money, and there are double the seasons where you do not make any money and you still have to invest. And this is something that I wish someone told me before starting Larusi, so I would have been prepared. But if there is someone out there who wants to open a market, regardless of which industry it's going to be in, if you're going to own a business, just know that you have double the amount than you think will cost for you to put up a business, because the capital keeps changing, the market keeps changing, the trends keep changing. There's going to be times where you keep having to have a lot of capital with no returns. And just it's just that we have to be prepared as an entrepreneur to foresee all the ugly parts that might happen. And I think it's one of the very challenging thing for me setting up Larusi, because it picked up really well. For me, collaborating with such a huge name was in my bucket list after 5 years of establishing Larusi. And right now it's just been 2 years. And and within 2 years I've seen brands that closed. Within 2 years I've seen people who changed completely, shifted their food industry to something else. But I have this honor saying that I collaborated with such a great brand, made such good connections, but this wasn't on my bucket list, and yet it happened. And there were a lot in my bucket list that did not happen as well. And I think, at the end of the day, there's going to be more lows than there's going to be highs when you have a business. So the main challenge is going to be capital that I had to deal with, and marketing, focusing on your proper clientele and then reaching out to them, ensuring that your products reach them. And the process of maintaining the quality throughout. Being a single person starting it for 1.5 year, I had no help. So it was pretty tough on my mental health as well to constantly look after this when I had to take care of graduation and like studying and all of that. So like, if you can manage a business and if you love it and you're passionate about it, and if you have proper resources, not just the capital stuff but also like the knowledge on what to do to properly set up your business, I think it will literally reduce like 90% of the challenges that you face during your entrepreneur experience?
Like having partnered up with TEDx, do you think you have got like whenever we start a thing, we need that initial validation so that we know we are going in the right direction, right? So do you think you having partnered up with TEDx initially, like you said that was 5 years down the line, and getting it like 2 years down in the line, do you feel that you have got the validation and that you are going in the same like the right direction?
Oh, yes, of course. The second I saw the email, I think that was the second I knew I have to keep doing this.
So you're like regardless of the low times and all the hard work and everything, this probably the way have to keep pushing and pushing.
Right. The second I saw the mail, I gasped. I genuinely could not breathe for a second. I was like, "Is this true? Let me just recheck. Let me just recheck." And it was happening, and I couldn't fathom the fact that we were actually collaborating with such a huge brand. But like I said, we still had issues in the last 5 days with my team and the logistics not working out. I think this itself is an example that even though you are at your highest point, there's still gonna be things that are not gonna go your way. There's going to be something that is going to bother you, that is going to like really test you out. But still, I think it's just that how resilient you are. And this validation was a lot for me. I think this is something that will keep me going on for next 2 years without any doubt. That yes, there's going to be a lot of lows, but I think I got it type of attitude. That's what TEDx has actually given me, this opportunity has given me.
So as we move to the as we approach the closing time, I have like the final four questions, which called the perspective questions, to bring a lot more perspective in life. So we'll start with the first one. If you were to have dinner with three people, dead or alive, who would they be and why?
Can I like listen to the question again? It wasn't audible.
Yeah. So if you were to have dinner with three people, dead or alive, who would they be and why?
Three people. Oh, that's an intense question. I think I need time to like reflect upon that. Do I get time or do I have
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah. You can take your time.
answer right now? Oh,
Yeah,
I
like
probably need like a week. uh, oh wow. So I my I actually have one of my friends who recently passed away, and the person who I know would be very proud of seeing me at TEDx event. This happened just before the event, so even during the event I was thinking about him. I think I would definitely like have a last go at a dinner just to like share that this is happening and this is growing and the career is going so good. He would be one of the person for sure. And the other two people, I think a chill family dinner would do because I can't give it much thought and it's such an intense question.
usually when I ask people, they say influential figures like Steve Jobs, Barack Obama, our president, our prime minister, sorry, Narendra Modi, and like different people, so that they can have a like why does this person think this way? So let's have a dinner. You get the opportunity, right?
I mean, I
So
can hear their podcasts and have a chill family dinner at the same time.
yeah, you can. That's what I'm saying. Like it depends. Like so few people, I think you're the second person who said family dinner in out of like the so many podcasts I've like hosted. You're the second person. Yeah.
Oh, oh wow. Okay. I thought I would be like 10th at least.
No, no. Usually people, I hear the same thing. It's like Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, and yeah, Donald Trump. Yeah. So three people constant on repeat.
I think I'll be friends with the first person. We both seem like emotional people.
So if you were to recommend three books, which would they be?
If I were to do what?
Recommend three books.
Oh, recommend three books. Um, the first one would be Alchemist for sure. Definitely. I think it's on everyone's list. And I forgot the name of this book that was written by an industrialist. Um, it goes something like, have to win it or something like that. But like
Shiv
I'll
Kera.
just huh?
Shiv Kera. you can win.
No, no. It was a different author. I'll like definitely message you that one book for
Okay.
sure. And there's another book by Paulo, obviously. It goes like Veronica Decides to Die. So these are my top three books. The last one is more on the emotional side. The first one is obviously gonna keep you ambitious, and the second book same as well. But I'll definitely like send you the message of the book.
So, if you were to go back in time, what would you tell the younger Sindhu, like 5 years, 10 years? Like, what would you do differently?
I'll tell her to stop stressing over every single thing, and I'll tell her everything works out because it did. And yeah, now that I look back and now that I am stressed during the TEDx event, I just kept thinking the same thing. If I were gonna tell something to my younger self, I better follow it myself. And that got me through. So that's something I would definitely tell
So, what do you want to be remembered for?
her. Wow. These are some questions that are something I'll reflect upon. And right now that you're like, answer it right now.
No, no, no.
I
It's like you can take a minute or two. It's not a hurry. But then, like whatever comes up to your mind first, just yeah.
I think I want to be remembered for that one crazy girl who wanted to have family dinner. If even if she could like have dinners with celebrities, that's all I could think of now. Or probably I can again message you. This.
Crazy. So, where is the best place people can find you or La Rose?
Google it, bro. It's
Google.
on Google.
Perfect.
Just yeah.
So, guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, this is for the Let's Walk podcast. I hope you guys learned something. Feel free to reach out to Sindhu for your birthdays, weddings, whatever that might be. She'll be more than happy to take care of that. Other than that, you guys know what to do. Stay blessed, keep taking action. We'll catch you in the next one.